We are going to look at our unit circle today. My table in the back. Are you done talking? Because this is the last warning. Next time you're in your assigned seats. And the actual assigned seats that I've given you, not what you've decided to sit in. So stop. Okay. We are going to create a 45, 45, 90 triangle with a hypotenuse of 1 in quadrant 1. So, this is what we're doing first. All of your written instructions are right here. I'm going to read them aloud and expand on them as we go so you can set those aside. And we're going to look right here at this unit circle. Okay, first of all, this big circle, it's telling me I have a radius of 1. I know that because it goes to 1, 0. That means the length from 0, 0 to here is 1. And I need to create a 45, 45, 90 triangle. So I need to draw in a triangle, okay, and cut it out. So we want to make sure that the hypotenuse is 1, and we've created degrees. You can totally use this as your 90 degree, but then we have to make sure we're going to make a 45 degree. So right here, this angle, now I'm going to look at this. I'm going to use the angles on the outside because I'm making it this way. Need this to be 45. I don't want to do it that way. I want to make it this way. I'm going to make my 45 right here. And I'm going to draw a line from here to here. That's 45 degrees. Right in here, that is 45 degrees. I'm going to go over that again, how I got that, so we're clear. We're going to take this little center right here and put it and line up the lines where my center is perfectly even right there. We're going to make sure I'm making a mark at 45 degrees. Drawn in. And then I'm going to draw a line that goes straight down. Once you make that, make sure it lines up. For the 8th time, it is 45 degrees. Just like you know how we did 45, 45, 90 triangles on Thursday? We need to make 45 degrees. So we line this up right here. We go to 45. 45 is right between 40 and 50. Make a dot. Then turn it sideways, draw that line in. We have a 45, 45, 90 degree triangle. Now, I want you to listen to me carefully. You need to make sure the next information is on the inside of the triangle because we're going to cut it out and you need this. So, you can put stuff here, but it's not going to help you. You need to make it inside the triangle. You ready for this?
Whoa, whoa.
You made 45 degrees, correct? I just want to know how far, hold on one second. I just want to know how far back I should go. I made a 45 degree angle, correct? Then I drew where that mark was, I drew a line connecting it, correct? Okay. Then I drew a line straight up and down. From there, I can make sure it lines up correctly. Like I've got a little ruler mark right here, so I make sure it goes through there. So then I know it's 90 degrees. And we know the other one has to be 45 because it adds up to 180. Questions so far? Mariana, did I answer your question by going through that? Okay. All right, you ready for this? Okay. A hypotenuse from here to here, the radius of this circle is 1. So the length right here is also 1. Okay, we get that the radius of this circle from the middle to the outside is 1. So anywhere on here from the middle has to be 1. Right? That's the rules about circles. Okay. Here's my next question. We know from 45, 45, 90 triangles, we talked about this on Thursday, that the two sides are equal because it is an isosceles triangle, and the hypotenuse is x square root 2 is big. So 1 equals what? 1 is x or 1 is x square root 2?
1 is x square root 2.
Okay, so if 1 equals x square root 2, how am I going to solve for x? Multiply both sides by square root 2. Oh, I wrote it wrong. I jumped ahead. It equals 1 equals x square root 2. So yes, we need to divide. Sorry about that. It's very early in the morning. Hopefully that didn't mess too many of you up. Sorry. X square root 2 equals 1. Okay, so we get 1 over the square root of 2. Are we allowed to have square root 2 on the bottom? No. It's against math rules. So I'm going to multiply square root on the bottom and the top.
Why did you have it in the first place?
Because that's not how it worked out. Sorry. Okay, so we get the square root of 2 over, what's 2 times 2, guys?
4.
Okay, so what's the square root of 4?
2.
So both of these sides that I need to make sure is inside the triangle is square root 2 over 2. Yes. So I got, it's okay. I got 1 equals x square root 2, correct? Then I divided both sides by the square root of 2. So far you're good? So I get 1 over the square root of 2. Can't have square root 2 on the bottom. So I multiply the top and bottom by the square root 2. I get square root 2 over 2 times 2 is 4. And the square root of 4 is 2. So I get 2 square root 2. Make sure they're in the inside of your triangle. Everybody's got this down? If you don't have this down, get it down right now. And once you have it down, cut it out. You want to cut it out as perfectly as you possibly can. Just the triangle. And leave as much of the circle as you can because we're going to need part of the circle to make it 30, 60, 90 tomorrow. So if you cut right along like the line, yeah, you're fine. Just try to cut out of that one hot quadrant. Everybody needs to do this right now. Cut it out. Everybody needs to cut out just that triangle as best they can, leaving as much of the circle as you can.
So this whole thing,
Just that triangle, yes. You don't need the whole thing. Yes, you can cut out the quadrant first.
We're meeting. Basically got it.
You can cut right around the axis. You need to right now copy down what I have on the board. 45, 45, 90 triangle. Yeah. The 45, 45, 90 triangle. So you can cut. So you cut right one line. Make sure you put the I'm going to show you in just a second. You, after today, hopefully you'll play.
you put in your pocket, instead of 5 grand, put it on the pocket.
So small compared to them, like,
This is here around,
not as tall as I thought.
That sandwich, so that sandwich, I had a camera on it.
Hold on, I heard you. So see how I cut here, right through here, and then I cut it out. The best you can. If you cut out this whole section, it's still fine.
Oh no, I did not do that. I just cut out this part. That little.
You just want to leave as much of the circle as possible so we can use it again.
Alright. Stop, I was like,
That's how far you like.
they still got me in Snapchat Spanish people. Like, why do people learn Spanish? Just stay at my house.
Do I want you to do what? Yes, but not right this second because I am in the middle of recording. TikTok, I'm sorry. I'm old.
Bro, I remember like, you remember me?
Okay. All right. So you all have a colored pencil in front of you. And you should all have this 45, 45, 90 triangle cut out. So the first thing, excuse me, I need your attention. We're transitioning again. We know that's hard for us. Shh. Pull it together. You want to turn your 45, 45, 90 triangle over and make sure to copy everything on the back. We're going to have to reflect it quite a bit, so we need that. So make sure you draw on your 90-degree angle. 45, 45. This is 1. This is square root 2 over 2. And this is square root 2 over 2. Okay. We are going to use this to reflect this 45, 45, 90 triangle around our circle and write down what the XY coordinates would be on the circle. So you should have a colored pencil in front of you right now. I put one on everybody's desk. It doesn't matter if they're different colors. You just need to use a different color for a 45 degrees, for 30 degrees, for 60 degrees, so you can see the difference. Okay. Oh. I'm gonna flip it over, but it's the same on the other side, so you guys should be okay. All right. I need your attention. I need you to not talk anymore. I need to be able to hear if somebody has a question so we can get through this. Okay, I'm gonna take 45 degrees, stop, and I'm gonna set it right up here at the center. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to trace this triangle. This is on your new circle. Your circle that is not cut out. If you started drawing it on your circle, you did cut out, that's fine. Just stop doing that now. Make sure it's on your new circle. Okay. So, if right here, the distance to get to this point is I go to the right one, up 0, I want you to look right here. What is the distance for this point right here? How do I go? How much do I go over to the right and up? So I go right square root 2 over 2, and then I go up square root 2 over 2, which is the whole point of us making this. So you guys can see that. And now along this line, I'm going to write 45 degrees so that I remember that that's what I went. 45 degrees. Okay, while people are finishing writing that down, I want to talk about right here on my unit circle. Okay, what degree do we think that is? If we're saying that this is 0 degrees, this is 45 degrees, how much is this? 90 degrees, right? And how much did I go right or left from 0, 0? If I'm going from 0, 0, how much did I go right or left to get there? 0. How much did I go up? 1. And I know that because it's a unit circle, right? And like a radius, everything is the same amount.
Yes.
Yeah, I sure can. And Kayla and Q can move back to their assigned seats. No, I'm all done. You got 3 changes. That was enough. Kayla, you need to move to the table in front of you. Q, I don't even know where your assigned seat is. I'd have to look. Do you know where it is? Okay. We need to move. Shh. Let's go right now, Kayla. Shh. I sure am. So I would be happy to send this to anybody's parent. Q, you can sit right here next to Jaden. Right up here. Let's go. Move now. Okay. So this is what you should have on your blank unit circle. Right here. Jaden, raise your hand. Right there. Kayla, you need to move to this other table. I'm going to wait about 5 seconds and then I'm going to get upset. You don't want me to get more upset. More upset means calling home. Okay. All right. Shh. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are moving. I need to move on, so you need to be quiet. Get where you need to get. The rest of you need to be quiet. There needs to be no comment about it. Or you can move too. Okay, yes, Madison. Yes. That is the x and y coordinates. So if I start at 0, 0, I need to move square root 2 over 2 to the right, square root 2 over 2 up. Okay? So they are the lengths to get there if I am not going along the diagonal. But they're also the direction, like that I have to go if I can't go kitty corner. You know what I mean? Like if I go right, left. Okay. So I am going to reflect this. I flipped this over. I flipped this, reflected this, over the y-axis. That's morning number 1. And then I'm tracing this onto my unit circle. Okay, so first, how many degrees is this? So it's not 45 degrees because 45 degrees, this is 0, this is 45, this is 90. Got so much more to go. So what do we think it is? So I heard 120, I heard 135. How would I figure this out for sure? We could just do 90 plus 45, right? So the answer is 135 right here. That's 135 degrees. Okay, so remember degrees are starting here. So this is my degrees. Are you watching? So here's 0, there's 45, there's 90, and then there's 45 more. Okay? Does that make sense? All right, it's still 45 degrees away from the bottom, so that's kind of how I can do it. All right, now, here's my question. What is this coordinate right here? If I'm going to 0, 0, and I want to get to that coordinate up there, what would it be? Negative square root 2 over 2 and positive square root 2 over 2 because I'm still going up, right? I can zoom in even more. But then the focus is really bad. It's negative square root 2 over 2 and positive square root 2 over 2. Sorry. I will write bigger for the next one. I'm going to zoom out because I don't think zooming in did any good. All right. Now, I want to look at this point right here. First of all, if I'm going from 0, 45, 90, 135, what's this right here? How many degrees? 180. Perfect. Okay. Next step. We should be off our phones, right? Because we should be focused and paying attention to this. Thank you. Okay. What are the coordinates for this point right here? This one. So I went to the left, so that means it should be what? Positive or negative? Negative. So it's negative 1, and I went up 0. How are we feeling? Some of you, I feel like when you're answering me, kind of are getting it. The rest of you, I'm not so sure. If you feel good about it, good. It is. It is. I'm actually physically having you do it instead of just giving you the answers to try to get you to grasp it a little bit more. Okay? Because I could have just given you a blank unit circle and been like, here it is. But I don't think that would have made the same impact as doing this. Okay. Should the what? They can be, yeah. Nina likes her coordinates in parentheses because that's how we usually see coordinates. And that's fine. You can totally do parentheses for those if that works for you. Especially because you can tell the difference between what angle versus what I'm doing. Okay, now we're going to take this. You see this 45, 45, 90 right here? We're going to flip it over your x-axis, and then we are going to trace it. Everybody okay with the tracing part? Okay. So, how many degrees is this line right here? This is 180. What's next? 360 would not be 45 degrees more, right? What's 45 degrees more than 180? 225. Okay. Now, this coordinate right here is going to be what? Am I going to the right or left first? Left, so it's going to have to be negative. So I get negative square root 2 over 2. And did it go up or down? Down, so it's also negative square root 2 over 2 to go down. Okay, before we flip it again, let's talk about this degree and this point right here. Well, how many degrees is this line? 270. And if you weren't sure, you could always add 45 to it. 225 plus 45 more gives you 270. Okay. What are the coordinates for that? 0, -1. Good. So I hear some other talking, and I'm concerned that somebody has a question that they're not willing to share, or you're talking about things that don't have to do with this. So, anybody have a question that they want to ask? Anything they want clarified? We only got one more of these, okay? Yes, Madison.
I got how we got
Yes.
but like, what does it mean? What is it?
Okay, it is the coordinate to get from 0, 0. I go over square root 2 over 2, down square root 2 over 2. Okay? It is also the length of those two lines right there, where the length of this line is 1. So it's both. And I'm going to show you how these are sine and cosine as well, and how that works. And then when we come back from break, I'm going to show you what sine and cosine are more to any right triangle so that we can make a connection between these two things. Sine, cosine, and tangent is the start of this word that everybody is like, oh, it's so hard. It's called trigonometry. But
God, I know.
trigonometry is literally memorizing 3 things. That's it. So everybody freaks out. They're like, trigonometry means scary, it means hard. It really means memorizing 3 things. Okay? So this is the start, and this is where it comes from, so we can make that connection from it. Okay. Now that I've got, what do I need to do now? What do you think I'm going to do next? Reflect over what?
The line.
What axis is this right here? Y. Okay, so let's trace this. And I am doing this with my colored pencil because we are going to add 30 degrees and 60 degrees tomorrow. It's nice to see it in color. I feel like it makes it easier and it looks pretty. Okay. So, those of you who are talking, I'm going to ask you one more time if you have a question about what we're doing. I'm going to try to assume good intention. Because if you can't, you can move your butt back over to that seat. I am. Okay. You're the one that asked. Okay. Yes. Did you look at it for a second and answered your own?
Yeah, I kind of looked at it now.
Okay. How many, this is supposed to go right through here, by the way. How many degrees is this? 315. How'd you figure that out again?
We added.
270 plus 45. Good. Now, what is this coordinate right here? 315, sorry.
Positive 2 square cm over 2.
Positive 2 square root 2 over 2 because I went to the right. And then negative because why?
Because you went down.
Because you went down. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. So far, so good?
Yeah.
Okay. You're going to get a homework assignment tomorrow. And on your quiz, it's going to say things like, what's the sine and cosine? So sine is going to be the x value. I'm not writing this on my paper. I'm just explaining. You can put your pencils down. Unless you're finishing doing this. This is 315. Is that your question? Yeah, I did. That's the abbreviation for sine. S-I-N. Yep. Oh, I'll put an E at the end if that helps everybody. Okay. And cosine. It's actually abbreviated. I actually didn't spell it wrong. I usually do. And cosine, oh, those are actually backwards. Sine is the y value, and cosine is the x value. So if I said, what's the cosine of 45 degrees, I would say square root 2 over 2. Okay. This little triangle, you do not need anymore. This circle, you're going to need for a long time. Don't lose it. This circle where you have something cut out of it, you're going to need it for tomorrow. Any questions? Okay, I'm going to pass back your guys' tests. Wow.